I didn't know people were buying food until I was around 15. Most people actually don't understand what organic means. Why do we have highest levels of malnutrition, yet we have the best weather, we have the best soils, we have water all the time? Change may not happen in the adults, but it can happen in the children. Because like in my case, the things I do today are the things I learned as a child.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another inspiring episode of Body and Soil. Today, I have one of our trainers sitting with me. She is helping us to build our demo gardens and to design our school gardens as well, using syntropic farming practices and permaculture practices. Her name is Joseline Ninsiima, and better known actually as Jojo. She believes the future of food lies with local communities and that resilience begins with how we think about the land. She comes from Fort Portal, where she leads the butterfly community conservation, a grassroots movement restoring biodiversity and building regenerative food systems across the Albertine region. In this episode, we talk about her work with farmers, schools, and community groups, and how food security and ecological restoration can grow side by side. So I really hope you enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to having her here. Good morning, Jojo.
Good morning, Maria.
So nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's so nice to have you in my kitchen. It's so strange that you've been here from actually you came pretty much at the beginning. No, not the beginning, but you were here 3-4 weeks, 3 months back.
Yes.
How has it changed since then?
From when I came here at the beginning and what I see now, there's a big difference in terms of, first of all, the gardens are changing. There's so much growing, but also the whole environment. You feel like you're in a place where you want to be. It feels homely. It feels very comfortable. It feels warm.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. So a lot has changed, and I must say you have done a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I know you're very passionate about farming, otherwise you wouldn't be here at Body and Soil. So I want to introduce you to our listener because you're an amazing woman and you have an amazing story.
Thank you.
And we want to hear it. So we're going to go back to your childhood and you're going to tell me a little bit about where you came from, why are you so passionate about agriculture, but also about growing with nature. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Not using chemicals, using practices like permaculture and tropic farming. Maybe you could explain that.
I'm Ugandan. I was born in a village called Katunga on a crater lake. Katunga is in Rushenyi district. A very small village closed up from the rest, kind of cut off from the rest of the world. Not like an island, but we didn't have so much access to town life. And in this village, we grew all our food. We knew all our neighbors. We exchanged seeds. You mind your children, but you also mind your neighbors' children. But most importantly, we grew clean food. I didn't know people were buying food until I was around 15.
Wow.
Yeah. I always wondered who goes. The first time my mother told me to go to the market and sell sweet potatoes, I said no. I was like, who is going to buy sweet potatoes? Everyone has a garden in my village. Everyone is growing their pumpkins. Everyone is growing their beans. Everyone is growing their cowpeas. So who is going to buy sweet potatoes? So that's how serious it was. Everyone growing their own food, clean food. We didn't use any chemicals.
And were there any illnesses in the villages? How was the health situation?
Because I believe when you eat the right foods, there's less diseases. But also, our parents, our mothers, our grandmothers knew a lot of herbs, herbs that grew on the land, herbs that were intercropped in our gardens. So if someone had a stomach ache or headache or someone is vomiting for any reason, they would rush to the backyard, pick some leaves, squeeze them, and then they give you to drink. But also because we were eating natural foods, there was less of diseases. Yeah.
And continue. So you went to the market. You were selling those sweet potatoes. Yes. And what happened when you were selling those sweet potatoes? What did you notice? Was there something like, was it a revelation? Oh my God, people.
Yeah, I realized that there were people that lived in trading centers, so they didn't have gardens, and so they were buying food. They were buying beans and sweet potatoes and bananas and different other things. And that's when I realized that, oh, you could actually make money out of what you grow. So you can grow for your family, but also you can earn a living out of what you grow. So that market introduced me to the commercial part of gardening, or growing food, or farming, or agriculture.
What happened after that? So you realized, okay, there's a market. What happened? Did you leave the village? What happened?
Of course, my village had just primary school. So after that, I went to secondary school in the city. I went to university. I studied in Makerere University. I got a job in Kampala, and I entered civilization. And then, of course, when you live in the city, you realize that everything has to be from the market. Everything. And you don't determine what you get from the market because you don't determine how it is grown. So you're eating these vegetables, you don't even know where they are coming from. You're eating all sorts of genetically modified foods that you have no control about.
Did that bother you? Did you think about it? Was that bothering for you?
No, of course, at that point, you're not aware. You're not even thinking that there could be people using poison to grow their food. So you just buy and eat until later in life when I started taking interest, like trying to find out how is this food grown? Where do my vegetables come from? Can I be able to grow my food even when I live in the city? Yeah.
I have a question because this is something that comes up a lot. When you ask someone here in Uganda, do you know what organic is? Everybody says yes. But do they know what organic is?
Most people actually don't understand what organic means. Actually, people think that if something is growing in the soil, then it is organic, which is totally wrong. Yeah, we've had an argument about that. There are so many people who are very comfortable thinking they are buying organic just because something is green and it is grown in the soil, and they think, yeah, they are eating so well when they are eating food that is packed with poison. Yeah.
So for example, when you have this argument with people, do they understand it? They say, no, that can't be. What is it? Like, what happens?
Most people don't understand it. That's why we have to keep sensitizing communities.
Yeah.
That's why we have to go to schools and talk about these things. That's why we must not take it for granted, because people are not aware. Also, those that are using strong chemicals, some of them don't know the damage it's causing to the soils. They don't relate their own health to the soil and the food they are growing and eating.
Yeah, soil health is not really a topic. Do the farmers understand that they need to feed their soil?
Most of the farmers don't relate to that. Yet, in the end, you have to establish the relationship between the land, the plants, and the human health. So I usually tell the children in schools to feed the soil so the soil can feed the plants and the plants can feed you. And you represents many wildlife, lots of microorganisms, lots of birds, lots of bees and butterflies, all the wildlife that depends on the land, be it soil or plants.
So now we're already at the schools. How did you get to be passionate about actually looking into agriculture, sustainable agriculture, growing without chemicals? Because I know now you're teaching in schools, you teach a lot of people, you're an expert in syntropic farming and permaculture, you're helping us here at Body and Soil to build our demo gardens. How did that spark happen from living in the city to all of a sudden realizing, no, I'm supposed to be doing something else. I'm supposed to be teaching people?
Yeah, I lived in the city for over 20 years.
Wow.
But then COVID happened. And then I went to live in Fort Portal as a way of finding myself, but also running away from from the world. You know how COVID was. Everyone was running away from everyone. You are looking for a safe spot to survive. So we already had the piece of land in Fort Portal on the side of Chiwade forest. And then we went and put up our tents. I lived in a tent for 6 months. And while there, I tried to go to the communities near the forest to look for food, specifically vegetables. Because I was telling myself, if you're living in the forest off the grid, still you need to be eating healthy. And also because we couldn't access the town, it was important that I go around the village and look for some food. But then I couldn't find vegetables. Everyone I was asking, they were saying, oh, we don't grow vegetables here. And so I started growing my own food. I started growing the simple ones, the amaranthus, the eggplants, the gooseberries, things that were actually growing on their own. I was so surprised. The land had seeds already, I guess from birds, but also from communities that had used the same land to grow their food. So a lot of things grew. And then by the time I left the forest after 6 months, I had so much I couldn't finish. So I was the one now giving community people vegetables and some foods. So after COVID, we definitely went back into civilization. And then I started living in Fort Portal town, city now. But then every time I went to the market, I couldn't find what I was looking for. If I wanted some lettuce for salad, I couldn't find it. If I wanted some coriander to spice my food, I couldn't find it. What if I find a place that is large enough to allow me grow my own food around my home, to start kitchen gardening? And that's how I started. I moved around Fort Portal, my neighborhood, and found a house that sits on half an acre. And then I started growing my food. Yeah. And I started slowly. I planted the quick vegetables within 2 weeks. Actually, some vegetables like lettuce, within 2 weeks, you already have leaves to harvest. I started growing, improving the garden, extending, eating part of the yard and turning it into the garden. And yeah, I kept going, and that's how I started.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And now you're working with different schools. You're also working with us, but we know that we have an extremely challenging feeding system in Uganda, in lots of parts of Uganda, where children are sometimes not getting anything to eat, sometimes only getting maize meal porridge and beans, sometimes only getting maize meal porridge.
Yeah.
When you go to these schools and you start working with them on their gardens, I'd like to start with, what is the biggest challenge you face? And the other one is, what is the biggest success?
Yeah. So most of the schools, like you already said, the children don't have enough to eat. For Porto in particular, where I live, when I was starting to go to schools, statistics were showing that we had the highest levels of malnutrition.
Wow.
And it was a shock. Why do we have highest levels of malnutrition, yet we have the best weather, we have the best soils, we have water all the time, and we have cheap labor? Why? And then it's the children that are mostly affected. So I said to myself, what if you go to schools and start introducing these kitchen gardens, so that instead of them eating just posho and beans, they can start including vegetables in their dishes. And that's how I started.
And did you do it as an initiative? Did you start knocking on doors, on the school doors, and say, hey, let me come and show you how to do a school garden? Or you were looking for schools that said, for example, where the director said, I'm interested in growing a kitchen garden?
Yeah, so usually if the directors and the teachers are not interested, it doesn't work. So before I go into the school, I have to have a point of contact. I have to have a teacher who is interested. And then you have to go discussing slowly by slowly until you reach a point where people are happy to let you in and start gardening with the kids. And if the kids are small, then the school has to be able to provide labor, to have someone that can help them clear the land, do the the hardest manual work, and the kids can only learn how to plant and weed and do the light activities.
And what happens, like, where do you, like, if I'm a school, for example, I want to do the same thing, where would I get my seeds?
Me as a gardener, I've been trying to save some seeds because most schools don't have a budget for gardening. When you go to them, they are looking at you like, where are we going to get tools? Where are we going to get fertilizer? Where are we going to get the fencing material? They are not ready because they are already struggling with a small budget. They are already struggling to feed kids. They are struggling to pay teachers. They are struggling to put up structures. So they don't have a budget, and that has been a very big challenge. You go to a school, they have only 2 holes. And for example, when I was starting, I didn't have money to go buying tools for schools. So that has been a big challenge. But the advantage is that most of these kids are interested. While sometimes the teachers are not sure if they should get involved, the children are highly interested. And that has been a very amazing point. They are able to motivate themselves. Sometimes you go, they are giving you feedback. They are telling you what is working and what is not working. They are telling you the chickens are disturbing their gardens. They are telling you the neighbors' goats are disturbing their gardens. But also they are eager to show you what it is they have planted that is working. Yeah.
So how do you go about it? For example, if there is somebody that the schools don't have a hoe, they don't have this. So do you use your hands? Do you bring them tools and say, you can borrow my tools? How do you go about it?
Like some of the schools I've been working with, I take tools sometimes, like the shovels. I always carry shovels in my bag. If you get people who can offer a few holes, that is also always welcome. Yeah. And that's why I appreciate you so much. Body and Soil has been able to buy some tools for the schools, to buy seeds, to buy overalls, gumboots. That's a great job, Maria.
I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also am always thinking, if I'm a school and Body and Soil is not there, how my goal is with Body and Soil is to create sustainability, but to create scalability. And if a school can't copy it, and they say we would like to do this like Body and Soil, but we don't have hose, we don't have this and that, how can we do it? So I'm really curious, and I really want to find the ways, and I'm thinking about like offering packages somehow that can be paid back. But like, what could be the ways that we can do this, that a school with a low budget can make it happen?
So the plan for the future is to have schools produce food for their kitchen, but also be able to sell what they cannot eat, what the balance. For example, some of the schools cannot eat salad, like lettuce.
Because it's not what they're used to either.
Yes,
It's not part of their culture.
Yes. But then there's someone in the community that is looking for salad leaves. So if the schools are able to grow some of those things, then they can be sold at the market. So as we teach these schools to garden, we have to start linking them to the market so that they are able to sell the surplus or what they can never be able to eat to the people looking for it. And that way they can earn some money, and that money can buy them some tools and seeds.
But has it been working? It's a good idea, but have you tried it? Has it worked?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Because one of the things, the challenges that we're facing in the schools, you saw it yourself. So yesterday we were in the primary school.
Yes.
We've been working with the primary school for this specific primary school for 6 months or longer, 7, 8 months maybe. And we grow a garden, we come back, we see everything is harvested, we grow again, something happens, the goats eats the cabbage, the teachers get discouraged. Now we come there again, we're like, is this the garden we were working so hard on? It looks bad.
Yes.
So now we're trying a competition, right? We're seeing, okay, and we saw yesterday the emotions were high. Everybody was really pitching in. At the end of the day, a competition also means winning an award. And it is something small that we could think about as a program for Body and Soil to build on, because that's basically what we're here for, to find the solutions.
Yes.
If they don't even take care of the crops that are right now, like for themselves, then how are they going to make it to the market? So I think that idea is a really good one to add value. But first they have to see that what they're growing, either they need to put some of the seeds aside, they have
Yes.
only done that partially. So all these struggles are coming together. And then I keep asking myself, so what is the end solution? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand you, because every time I am gardening with any group, I'm asking them what is the sustainability prior. So I know it is still a challenge, but it's something that we can keep talking about.
Yes.
And the competition is something very beautiful. Yesterday, I saw how it was working, and I think it's going to work.
I think so.
And now what we can do is to design a package, the requirement of what they are supposed to do, to have a list of things they are supposed to compete against. Also, seed saving should be one of them.
Yes.
So that they are not just judged one time, but we have to tell them we will judge again at the end of the season, but also at the end of the year.
That's a very good idea. What we could think about doing is, for example, one of the criteria is, how did you save your seeds in the next season, right?
Yes.
How did you, so the points are given to the beds, the seed savings, how their, I don't know, how their uniforms are kept also maybe.
Yeah, because you already see some of the kids lost their uniforms.
Yes.
And
Or their boots. They're coming without boots in the field.
Yeah.
So maybe these things, we need to make a list, the challenges that we're facing, the criterias, and every 3 months, there's a small reward given. And after a year, a bigger reward.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. And the idea is that the idea is not to introduce competition among the students, but to encourage them to be responsible, to be accountable, to learn teamwork. If maybe one of the teams is not harvesting good maize, they can get their beans and exchange them for some maize from another team. So they have to know how everything works. They have to have a plan for their garden. They have to say, okay, we are planting this. Why are we planting this exactly? Can we harvest this and eat it at the end of the season? Or can we sell it and earn some money to buy a tool or make a party for our team? They have to know why they are growing what they are growing, but also understand the benefit of what they are growing to the soil and the general environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think also what we're going to be working on is not just, I know we're going to be calculating the beds, so that there's also a monetary value in the beds.
Yes.
That's one thing that we would like to work on as a structure for other schools. But there's something else that I wanted to talk to you about, because it's also something we struggle with and that we're trying to find solutions for, is you can grow all these foods in the gardens. We can grow more diversity in beans so that the children have more on their plate. We can grow different kinds of grains. But then you come to the cook. And the cook is a very simple person. Maybe they never even learned how to be a chef. And all they learn is to cook a big pot of maize-and-porridge without salt and some beans with no tomatoes, with nothing. Those are the two things they know how to make.
Yes.
So you have all these greens in your garden, all these foods. Maybe they also know how to make greens. They know how to make skuma, the local green, or amaranthas. But that is about as far as the educational, or as far as what is expected from them.
Yes.
So at Body and Soul, we also want to integrate a program teaching these cooks to see what's in the garden.
Yes.
Because with the challenges we face right away is, you grow that, you don't have it on the plates. Secondly, the garbage challenge, you know that one too. We can also talk about that in a second. But how have you seen that with the cooks when you're in the kitchens?
It's actually a problem in all the schools. You find lots of childs growing and no one is harvesting them. You find lots of leaves growing in the garden and the cooks are not harvesting them. Like in one of the schools, we had a lot of basil that was growing and going to waste. And when I asked, they said they didn't know how to cook it.
Exactly.
But even when they know, they'll give you this look like, that will waste my time.
Exactly.
It's like they are always in a rush to cook whatever it is. Yet they could just pick the leaves, wash them, and drop them in a pot of beans, and then the beans will taste different. And the kids will get the nutritional value from the leaves.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think we need to emphasize the sensitization of the chefs, of the cooks. Yet, the schools change the chefs all the time.
Yeah. So I feel like one way could be, maybe also we're creating these curriculums for schools, for educational programs, and we're also going to make the Body and Soil cookbook for the schools to follow. So maybe It could be something like you have a handbook in the kitchens for the cooks to be guided a little bit.
Yes.
The other challenge is if they will use it. But I think if the children are on top of it, they know it, the cooks maybe we need to involve them more in the classes, the actual classes at Body and Soil, and we will. But it always sounds so easy. Go into a garden, grow some vegetables, that's it. But then you go into the garden, you see lots of plastic bottles laying in the field. You see no fertilizers. You see the teachers spraying the fields with chemicals. You see the cooks not knowing how to cook. So I like when people say, but it must be so simple. It's like, it's not simple. It's so multi-layered. And then the biggest challenge I feel is the habits. So we're fighting against a system that has created such strong habits in people that people believe this is the only food they're allowed to eat is maize and beans because that's what they've been eating. They say this is food, everything else is not food. So this is the meal we eat because we've always done it this way. This is what people say. So I think that is the biggest challenge. And it's something that will not happen just through Body. The change won't happen through Body. And so it has to be a collective challenge.
Change takes time. And I think what you're doing by involving the chefs in Body and Soil programs is an amazing initiative. But also when you have activities here that involve the community women coming to cook, I suggest you start inviting those chefs to come and.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
So we will do that in the future because it is an amazing source of inspiration for everyone to come together and cook in the Body and Soil kitchen. And we do need to do that. You're right.
And usually, like for my programs, when I invite people in my space, I usually want to serve them the leaves so that, or something they have been ignoring around their homes, and now they come and they see that they can eat it. And then while at the table, you talk about its nutritional value. And then you see them going like, I didn't know this was edible. I didn't know I could eat the pumpkin leaves. I didn't know I could add childs to all my foods. I didn't know yukon could be eaten raw, stuff like that. So we have to give people a chance to learn. Most people are not aware. So change takes time. Yeah, one step at a time.
So, but sometimes do you also get frustrated?
I do. Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad when I see the plastic all littered in the soil, and then it's like no one is concerned. The teachers are coming and walking past those plastic bottles.
Or even throwing them in the garden.
Yes. Why are we even bothered? But then you have to learn to calm yourself down and know that, yes.
I have like moments where things have happened that really encourage me and we're like, okay, we're on the right path. Frustrating, we see the plastic there again, but then I talk to a child and I see that child has just planted, for example, tomato sacks at home and they learn to mulch properly. And I have people sending me videos of what they're doing right. Other people telling me they're healing. Do you have a story like something, the moments that keep you going?
Yes, lots of those. For example, when I see the kids telling me, madam, we did not mulch this part. Madam, what? We did not mulch. Then I go like, they are aware that we are supposed to mulch the parts. Or they come and tell me, my mother is still using chemicals at home. And you see them telling you with a sad face because they know the effect. They have learned the effect of the chemicals on the soil and the entire environment. And then sometimes you see them looking at bees on the flowers and they are signaling to you, they are pointing to the bees. And you're like, wow, they are learning a poem. But also last season with one of the schools, we were able to harvest lots of food. Irish potatoes, they made a meal and they sat together as a group and ate together, and that has been memorable. They keep talking about it and it gives them a reason to grow more. And for me, when I see that, I am encouraged to keep growing, to keep involved, to add more schools. Yes. But also knowing that change may not happen in the adults, but it can happen in the children. Because like in my case, the things I do today are the things I learned as a child. I still think I should be paying my mother every time I earn money from gardening. Because everything I do is what she used to do at home. The intercropping, growing vegetables. Some of the people in our villages did not grow vegetables, but they came to our home and harvested because there was a bit of communal living. Yeah. But then if we didn't have milk, they would give us. Sometimes someone comes with a bottle of milk and hands it over to my mother. Or if someone knows that we did not grow groundnuts, they will come with a basket full of groundnuts and give it to us. And they return with a basket full of vegetables or something else that we are growing. So I think involving children in these activities, gardening activities, is very crucial. We are shaping the future.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't remember who that was that told me that, I can't remember if it was even you or someone else, but we were talking about how children go back home and they influence their parents.
Yes.
Because they start telling their parents, no, you can't do this, or showing them maybe you take the blackjack, make a tea, or no, let's use the blackjack as a green or whatever. Have you seen that too?
Yes. I have seen kids asking me for seeds to take back home.
That's amazing.
Yes, but also I was thinking, bring seeds from home and give it to me to add in the garden. They come with some seeds and go like, my mother is planting this. Maybe we can also plant it in your garden. But also you see them asking you, can I get some seeds? Can I get some seeds? I'm like, so yeah, I think knowledge sharing is working.
Yeah, I think so too. I think one of the reasons why we have such little diversity on the markets is because the seeds market is so dominated. People don't see their local seeds as valuable. And also because sometimes they're not given names, these certain local beans. They just called local bean. It's a green bean, it's called local bean. It's a white bean, it's called local bean. It's a brown bean, it's called local bean.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't differentiate. It's the ones that then you go and you buy the fancy beans.
Yes.
So that creates a monoculture in our markets, but in our soils.
Yeah.
How do you think we can change that?
So, I don't have kind words for the businessman selling seeds out in the market, because the businessman doesn't want you to know that you would depend on him entirely if you start growing their seeds.
Of course not.
The genetically modified seeds are not giving us seeds to replant, meaning the businessman will control the market of seeds. And that means they will have total control of the food that we eat. Meaning when we go to the market, we cannot choose what we eat. Most, maybe the big tomatoes or the so-called, what they look at as good food is saved for a wider market. And then the small ones are left in the local market for us to eat, and we will not have choice. So the best thing and the solution to that is to save our own seeds. If you grow the local beans, the so-called local beans, save the seeds and replant them. If you're growing the local sunflowers, save the seeds and replant them. But also like what you're starting here at Body and Soil space, you can sell seeds and be able to distribute them to the communities and the schools. But also they can grow and return to the seed bank so that they are not entirely depending on you. When they bring back the seeds, then you have more seeds to give to other people. Yeah, but also we need to look at establishing more farmers markets, organic markets, where we can sell those organic seeds so that people who can afford can have access to them and keep multiplying.
I love that idea. And I always think about marketing. Like people market sugary drinks, all these Western foods are marketed. You see big billboards with these things. And if we could, people don't understand, like, first of all, the root is they don't understand organic.
Yeah.
Then even if you would have a market space for organic, but they don't understand that they're actually buying a better quality, then they just walk away. They say it's just too expensive. But we have to try to, the part to get it into people's heads that they're becoming sick, that they're having sicknesses such as cancer are coming up and other diseases, or non-communicable diseases are coming because of all these things. If we can get it bigger and bigger and really have people notice that you are what you eat.
Yes.
and that we could change the system and we don't need to be dependent on these big companies,
Very good.
then we have done a lot. But that way is long. It's a long stretch.
Yeah, but then it has to be the system of each one teach each one. Each one teach each one. If, for example, you bring 10 women here and you teach them, they're supposed to go back home and teach other people. The ones they teach are supposed to go back and teach other people. So, and also podcasts like these are very important because they can land in someone's ears and they get to listen to it and get the information and become aware.
And be inspired.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we are working with schools, it means we are getting large numbers at a go. And then we have to emphasize that when they go home, they teach their parents. The knowledge they get from school is supposed to be carried to their homes and practiced. And then we can take advantage of some radio stations. There are radios that give room to people who are doing who are providing important information. We can always find a way to get to radios and talk to people.
We just need to get it bigger. We just need to keep rolling the ball bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes. And how I know this can work is because when I started gardening, I didn't know so many people that were gardening. And then over time, as long as I get someone sit at my table, like this is an opportunity to talk about this. This is like a time for change, salvation. We start slowly. I keep telling myself, cool down, don't make it so strong because someone will get mad and walk away. If someone has been using chemicals all their lives, yet I know the chemical thing just started. I wonder how someone in their 30s say they don't know how to grow without chemicals. So when I'm talking to people, I'm trying to be slow, but to bring the information home.
Yes.
Yeah. Slowly you tell them how the food they eat is affecting them. But also, one thing we have to do is to take care of ourselves and look and be the living example.
Yes, I believe.
Usually when I tell people that I'm making 46 this year, they're looking at me like, what are you eating? Like my organic vegetables. I am drinking my herbs and eating my vegetables. And that's why I'm able to start to keep looking slim and fit and healthy. Sleep enough, drink your herbs, eat your organic food. Yeah, take care of yourself. So do the earthing, walk around your garden barefooted, which is one of the reasons you need to keep the plastics and all the broken bottles away from your garden so that you can be able to walk barefooted around that. In the end, all that adds up to how you look and how your lifestyle turns out.
Yeah. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Like if there was one thing you would like to say to the listener right now to end, what would you like? What would be the one thing? Is there anything?
One thing is that the earth belongs to all of us. It's not one person's responsibility. It's all of us' responsibility to make sure that we do whatever we can to save the planet so that it can feed us. We feed the planet, it feeds us. We feed it, it feeds us to complete the cycle of life. Everything is connected to everything. If you're throwing this cup away, you have to think what is the effect of throwing this cup in the soil. Once you start thinking like that, then it means you are now aware of the effects. Yeah. So let's be aware. Let's know that everything affects everything and try to live in harmony.
Yes, and that we're all responsible. Like you said, I love that. Jojo, thank you so much. Thank you, Maria, for being a lovely guest and also being here at BODY&SOIL. I'm super happy that we're working together. And
thank you for having me. I am so glad you are able to give me this opportunity to talk about things that I'm highly passionate about.
So I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. And if you want to learn more about what Jojo does or follow her, I've put her social media links in the caption below. And of course, I also added our link where you can subscribe to the Body and Soul journal that I write. It's like a personal story, basically, that I send people once a month. And there you get a really good insight of what we're doing. You can also follow us on YouTube. We've launched our educational YouTube channel with amazing educational videos from soil to plate, and it's actually for youth and for schools, but anybody can learn from these things. And if you want to support Body and Soil, please subscribe to this channel, share it, like it. Wishing you a beautiful Christmas season and looking forward to being your host next time. Thank you.